Hey there, welcome back to another review, and this time it is Happy Death Day. It's not a rant. I didn't mind this film. I thought it was an okay time waster. I don't know if it would be my top 10 of the year, but I liked it. I didn't love it. That was, okay, time waster, saw it once. It's directed by Christopher B. Landon, who was a guy who wrote a lot of Paranormal Activity films. He wrote the second, the third, and the fourth one, and then he wrote and directed Paranormal Activity, the March ones. He also directed this film I did not see called Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I never saw that movie. And Paranormal Activity, I stopped watching after part 3. I'm not much a fan of that franchise. I definitely like this more than those movies. And it's written by a guy named Scott Lobdell, who is a comic book writer. He wrote a lot of Uncanny X-Men of the 90s, like Age of Apocalypse and other stories during that era. He also had writing stints in Alpha Flight, Daredevil, even some DC stuff. I think this is the first time he's written a movie. Could be wrong on that. And it stars this lady named Jessica Rothe. And I haven't seen any of the films she's been in. I've heard of one of them, La La Land. That's the musical with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone that came out last year. I didn't see that. But this is the first time I've seen her. And Jessica Rothe was definitely the best thing about the film. Because she did a really good job. She gave a very solid performance. And I remember seeing the trailer to this way back and being very excited when I first saw the trailer. And those wondering if you haven't seen the film, I think they used the 50 Cent song, It's Your Birthday. I think that's 50 Cent. I could be wrong. I don't listen to a lot of 50 Cent, I'll admit. That music is not in the movie. Maybe they could afford it in the movie, just for the trailer. But I liked the idea of Groundhog Day meets Scream. Then at the time, I remember on Facebook I mentioned, meets Friday the 13th. But yeah, Scream works a bit better. Because I liked when they do the Groundhog Day, the day repeating stuff. Usually I liked when they do that in movies. Groundhog Day, of course, with Bill Murray. It's one of my favorite Bill Murray movies. Groundhog Day is a great Harold Ramis flick. I liked Edge of Tomorrow a lot. It's actually one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. I thought that was a great flick. There was an episode of The X-Files called Monday, where Mulder and Scully at this bank and someone holds it and blows it up with a bomb he has. And it's the guy's girlfriend who's reliving the day over and over and trying to stop it. Yeah, it's called Monday. I thought that was one of the better X-Files episodes. I know there's been other stuff that done it. I haven't really seen those. It's a cool premise. Taking the same thing you see and trying to see how you can twist it, how you can turn it, which directions you can go by playing with the same variables. Makes it me interested to see what twist or what turn or what is the different thing they're going to do. So I like the concept. I like the idea of the flick. And Jessica Rothe, she plays this girl at college, and she's not a good person. Even later on in the film, she admits she was not a good person. At the beginning of the film, she has an affair with a teacher who's married. She is condescending to people. She ignores people. She ignores her dad who wants to see her on her birthday. It happens to be her birthday that day. She's just self-centered, only cares about herself. And then during that day, she gets killed. And then she wakes up, and now every time she dies from this killer, wearing this, it's a mask of, I guess their mascot, which is a baby. I'm like, it's fucking Baby Herman killing them. It's fucking Baby Herman. Each time she dies, she wakes up on the same day. They do something I thought interesting with the idea that as it keeps going, she's getting weaker and weaker, because at one time she was in a hospital and she has scar tissue. So I like that because it means she can't do it forever, almost as if there's a certain time limit. and she has to find out who her killer is. And when I first saw the trailer, I liked it, but then the more I thought about it, I went, well, wait a minute. If this person has a mask and you die over and over again, why don't you just rush the killer and take the mask off and then see who it is, and then the next day, oh wow, okay, now I know who's killing me. That doesn't happen, otherwise the movie would be 5 minutes long. But that got stuck in my skull and got stuck in my head. I'm like, just rush the son of a bitch and rip the fucking mask off. Just rush and run. You know, there are times where you're hitting the killer, you hit the killer with a hammer. Take the fucking mask off, see who it is. Or it's like, okay, you come for me, you kill me, I grab you. Oh, that's who you are. Next time I wake up, now I know who the killer is. Wouldn't that be the easiest thing to do? That ever happens and never occurs to her, and I'm like, I know slasher film's supposed to be stupid, but it's 2017. Come on, man. Guy, you wrote comic books. I'm sorry, I'm pausing to think, should I just let that go or not? But it's still a stupid thing. It just kept bugging me. Just grab the motherfucker, grab the fucking mask off, and see who the killer is. So that bugged the shit out of me, because I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. And I also don't like the fact it's PG-13. Why? Why is it PG-13? Because I didn't really feel any thrills or scares or any visceralness or anything of that nature, much suspense, because it's a very bloodless movie. I mean, this is a slasher film, but it's very bloodless. Being it's PG-13, Get Out was rated R and it was a huge hit. It, no matter what I feel about it, is the most successful horror film of all time. That made hundreds of millions of dollars. Conjuring 1 and 2, Sinister, I mean, there's many horror films that have been big hits that were rated R. This did not need to be rated R. Could have easily been PG-13. You can't give me, oh, humor and horror, you can't get bloody. Bullshit. Evil Dead 2, Return of the Living Dead, the original Fright Night is rated R, and that mixed horror and humor well. So, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon did it well too. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. You can mix that well together. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is bloody as hell, but it's also very funny and has very likable characters. And this one, I think, it would have been interesting to see a person who get killed over and over again, but it's just very bloodless. So I swear, sometimes you see more blood in a Lifetime channel movie. But the reason this is not a rant is because I thought they did a good job with the lead character, the lead actress of Jessica Rothe. She did a really good job as Teresa, or Tree, her nickname. I'll just call her Teresa. And they really made her go through an arc. And it really made me feel for the character. Yes, at the beginning she's very selfish. She's not likable at all. And the movie did a good job of making me, wow, you made me grow to like this person. And the actress did a really good job. Where every time she wakes up, she's in with this person named Carter. At first she thinks, oh, this guy took advantage of me. And then he goes, no, I didn't. You were drunk. You were in that bed. I slept over here. So he's a good guy. And she grows to respect that, and then asks him for help, starts to like him, starts to realize that she's a bad person, she wants to be better, lets in, not only on Carter, but on us, her life, about how her mom died, and her mom shared the same birthday as hers, so anytime, you know, she's had a hard time dealing with that, and then anytime her birthday is around, she just wants to ignore everything. That's why she's ignoring her dad. And there's actually a nice I didn't even talk about the exact moment where, at least for me, if you didn't like her, you go into liking this character. That's a moment where she thinks she knows who the killer is. Because there's like this guy in this hospital who is some murderer that was in jail and moved to the hospital. And she thinks, oh, it must be him. During this thing, Carter gets his neck snapped, and she's able to kill the killer and end this, as she thinks. But she's like, wait a minute, if I do this, then he's still going to be dead. So she goes up, hangs herself, so that she wakes up the next day and Carter is still alive. So I'm like, okay, she has put her foot not in front of herself, but in front of someone else to stop them, to save them, to put someone else ahead of her. And I thought, they did a nice job with that. Other than, I mean, the rest of the cast were fine. The guy who played Carter, he was okay. We don't really get to know much about him, but other than I think, like, his dad doesn't call him on his birthday, but he's just a guy who sometimes is there for her. I don't know. It's one of those movies that her performance, her character arc, and the premise itself is what kept me interested in watching. But I don't know if it'd be a film that's worth a rewatch because it's kind of a series of slasher events that are very bloodless and almost ho-hum in a way. Okay, she learned the first time she's lured into a tunnel with this little thing playing happy birthday music, chased and killed by the killer with the mask. And it's a silly mask, too. It's very silly. I know it's the mascot, but a fucking Baby Herman mask. I remember the first time I saw him, like, is that fucking Alvin the Chipmunks? But, like, come on, man. It's a pretty silly, goofy mask. Baby Herman. But yeah, that moment. The next day, she doesn't go to that tunnel. She goes to this surprise party. She's in this room with this guy. And also, that's another thing. It's like this killer is psychic and can teleport. And I know that's the thing with slasher films, but this killer seemed really psychic. Like, no matter what she did, this killer knew every fucking thing she was going to do. Like, she knew she was going to go through that tunnel. She put the little thing, the killer put the thing down. She was walking there, the killer put the thing. Oh, if she walks down, well, the killer knows that, boom, going to be in that room, be able to stab this guy and stab her. Later on, knows that the lead is going to be in the hospital, is there. Or knows that she, even though she's far away in a car and stops because of a cop, oh, there's the killer there. Hell, there's a moment where she boards the windows and moves shit in front of the door. And I guess the killer knew she was going to do that, is psychic, and just so happens to be there. I'm like, how the fuck is the killer in the room when she boarded up the windows and the dresser is there? And big spoiler right now. I'll tell you who the killer is so I can go on further. Big spoilers from now on. Okay, just to warn you. You find out that the killer is not the... It's not the guy in the hospital. Because she thinks she did everything. She's talked to her Carter. She eats this cupcake that her roommate keeps wanting to give her for her birthday. She wakes up, it's the same day. She's like, what the fuck's going on? And she realizes that the cupcake was poisoned and she died in her sleep. It's been her roommate all along, who also works at the hospital, and wanted to use that killer as a scapegoat so that she can kill the lead because she was fucking with the doctor, or the teacher having an affair with him. I think it was the teacher. The roommate was pissed off. It's like, it made me think of Lifetime. And even as her roommates, I understand you don't know her patterns, but this was to a point like, are you fucking Jigsaw? Are you really psychic and shit? Like, she literally boarded her room and nailed the bars, like, things to the window, and this killer knew to be there. I'm like, what? But again, it's just sort of events that I almost want to say rudimentary, kind of. Okay, chased through a little tunnel, killed. She barricaded herself in, gets killed. She goes to this guy's room during this party, gets killed. No blood, no visceralness, not much suspense because you know she's going to die because it's the whole gimmick. And you know, oh, the running time is that far? Okay. She fights with someone who she thinks is a killer. They both get hit by a car. She wakes up. And this whole time I'm like, you know, she's doing this checklist trying to find suspects. I'm like, just grab the killer and rip the fucking mask off to see who it is. And then, you know, this little montage of her looking at suspects and continually getting killed. One point she's in a hospital because, again, the scar tissue, which shows that each time this happens, she's getting weaker and weaker. Doc gets the guy there gets stabbed, chased to a garage, parking garage. She drives off, cop stops her, and then the killer runs over the cop, burns her up, blows up her car. She wakes up, she shows Carter. She told him once before, which he believed her decently, like, quickly. And then here she's actually showing she can predict everything, so now I'm like, okay, that makes sense that he believes her then. But earlier when she just explains it to him, I'm like, okay, it's guess he's taking him for her word. Has dinner with Carter. For some reason, they put this thing in where they're at a diner and she farts. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're not going to remember tomorrow anyway. I'm like, I don't really get that. Well, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a joke, but I'm like, come on, man. But again, the reason I don't hate the film, I think the lead actress and the character arc they gave her did a good job. She admits she's not a good person. Like, she thinks it's this killer, tries to stop him. Carter helps, gets his neck broken, hits the bad guy. She's like, no, Carter will still be dead. So she hangs herself. So now she's putting people ahead of her. And the next day, she's doing good things for everybody, helping everybody out, trying to be a good person, sees her dad. She gives a good speech to her dad about how she hasn't been able to deal with her mom's death. Goes up against the killer, uses the knowledge of the blackout to shoot the killer. Which I thought was funny that that night she was home with Carter with this cupcake, because I'm like, Greg, you did the right thing, but you still held a knife to a guard's neck and took his gun. I think you would spend the night in jail, regardless, but I don't know. I'm nitpicking. Wakes up, realizes, oh shit, it was the cupcake. Which kind of puts a damper on things. The fact that the night before she killed a suspected murderer and um, she, you know, did all those good things. But I guess it was meant there to be like a little twist. Stuffs the cupcake in the killer's mouth. It was her roommate all along. Kicks her ass through the window. And now everything's fine. it's one of those things where I know I've just been explaining the plot, but I'm kind of doing that because I'm trying to picture in my head why did I love this film more than I should have. And so I guess this should have done this before I turned on the webcam, but as I'm picturing it, I'm like, it's like okay, and it was decent, and the acting wasn't bad, and the actress did a good job, and she actually has an arc. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just there's humor, but I didn't really find anything quote funny. I didn't laugh at anything. It's supposed to be horror, but I didn't really get creeped out or scared by anything or go, oh, that's some good atmosphere, or that's some good this. It's a slasher film, but there's no blood or gore, and there's like, I think, one use of the F word. So, it's not like the music I can remember anything about, or the score seemed typical. The direction, I can't really think of anything remarkable about the direction of the film. It's just, I like the premise, I like the lead actress, I like the arc that she has. Other than that, the killer's mask is goofy, the her getting killed, for the most part, it seems kind of the rudimentary scenes that you've seen in the 100 other slasher films. The twist was whatever. I already knew about beforehand, so I don't know. It's just one of those things where the acting was good and the lead actress did a really good job, but just something was missing. I think it should have been rated R. I don't think the mask of the killer should have been that goofy. And again, I can't really say it was ever funny or ever made me laugh or ever made me chuckle or it's kind of, I don't want to say routine because I like the premise, but at the same time, it's something missing. I can't put my finger on it. If you guys can, feel free to put it down below. I mean, I could definitely say I had a better time here than other films like Cult of Chucky or It, but it was an alright movie. I can't say I was mad, other than just get the fucking mask, take the mask off. But other than that, it's alright. Alright flick. I've seen much worse movies, and I think it's a premise with a slash film that could be done a lot better, though. I don't think this is a definitive take on that idea. I can't say it was bad though. I can't. Believe me, I would say it if I thought it was bad. It's just mediocre seems a bit too harsh. It's an okay time waster. No repeating that, but it's alright. Lead actress did a really good job. I definitely commend her and her character. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later with more reviews. Bye bye.